The subject today is the most beautiful street in Baghdad. According to the writer Amin al-Mumayyiz, the most beautiful street in Baghdad, it is not Al-Rashid Street. It is not the street Hassan bin Thabit, the street Al-Balanchi. It is not neither Al-Mutanabi Street. It's not the street Souk Haraj. It is not Al-Nahar Street, Al-Mustansir Street. The most beautiful street for Amin al-Mumayyiz is this street, Street Al-Ma'mun, Al-Dingachiya, Darb Dinar.
For those coming from Al-Karkbank, and more specifically from Al-Shawaka district, who use Al-Qat'a bridge to access the Tigris River. The bridge was formerly called Al-Qat'a, meaning the break, because it frequently broke, especially during floods and periods of strong currents. After breaking, it was swept away by the current. Once repaired, after considerable effort, it was brought back in a public ceremony called Zaffa, a wedding procession, where the crowd accompanied it to its original location. It was made up of wooden boats connected by a chain. It was the only bridge at the time, and its location is now occupied by a Shuhada bridge. The bridge opened to allow ships to pass, and then closed to allow pedestrians to cross. It led to Al-Ma'mun Street, and then to Al-Mustansir Street, which runs alongside the river today. It is one of the most frequently depicted bridges, notably by Al-Matraqi in 1534, whose drawings were kindly summarized by Dr. Imad Abdus Salam Raouf in his work, The Beautiful Drawings Drawn on the Map. Then in 1766, the traveler Niabur drew it, and at that time, it was also the only known bridge. Buckingham mentioned it in 1816, describing with pleasure how he had stood in the middle of the bridge at midnight, feeling the morning breeze and contemplating the majestic flow of the river. This peaceful flow was interrupted only by the prows of boats cleaving through the current as he passed. Looking up at the sky, he saw a vault of deep blue studded with countless stars, while the light reflecting off the river transformed its surface into a shimmering glassy expanse. The French traveler Eugene Flanda also described this place, mentioning the ships moored on the bank, ready to load their cargo before setting sail for Basra and the Gulf. He wrote, at the foot of the building, bathed by the Tigris, several large boats or bungalows with immense yards bob gently, awaiting their cargo to return downstream to Basra and to the Gulf. Flandan described the bridge. A very long pontoon bridge connects the two parts of the city, for the Tigris is a wide river. Caravans, horsemen, camels, laden with goods, and flocks of sheep brought from the countryside to supply the city are constantly seen passing by. The water tower, also known as Babishat Soqapi Tower, stood at the end of the bridge. It served as a lighthouse for ships, regulating navigation, dating from the Abbasid era. Its architectural style is so distinctive that some believe it influenced many towers around the world. Dr. Imad Abdus Salam Raouf, commenting on Al-Matraqi's map, states another cylindrical tower topped with a pointed conical dome. It dominates the entrance to the adjacent bridge. It is this tower that 18th century sources refer to as the water tower, due to its position overlooking the bridge gate on its side. Francis Chesney in 1835, the British explorer, depicted it along with the bridge and Al-Wazir Mosque in a landscape of great beauty. He had come to study the possibility to linking the rivers of Iraq with the global navigation, as Iraqi rivers such as the Tigris and the Euphrates were as vast as seas. Eugene Flandin, between 1840 and 1842, the French traveler, made a drawing of it during his stay in Iraq, accompanied by a remarkable description and a very fine drawing. Later, the tower disappeared, perhaps due to flooding, as some sources indicate, or for some other reason. Numerous drawings indicate that Al-Wazir Mosque, built by the minister Hassan Pasha in 1599, had the largest dome among the mosques of Baghdad. Through travelers' sketches, we can conclude that it was the largest of all. Buckingham mentions the mosque in 1816, praising its beauty and grandeur. The dome is still standing in 1835, according to a drawing by Francis Chesney, attesting to its immense size and beauty. However, it collapsed during the flooding of the Tigris River, which weakened the mosque's foundation. It is shown partially collapsed between 1840 and 1842, according to a drawing by the French traveler Eugene Flandin. This means that the dome collapsed between 1835 and 1840 and remained in this state until 1874, as depicted in a drawing by William Perry-Fogg. The dome thus remained in this state for approximately 50 years. Fogg's drawing is the last known depiction of the dome. It is evident that the mosque was subsequently rebuilt with lower domes, perhaps to prevent another collapse. In 1957, the Religious Property Administration rebuilt it in the form we know today, with a very small dome, as if despite its collapse, it remained forever etched in the mosque's memory. In his work, the writer Amin al-Mumayyiz conveyed Buckingham's impressions of Al-Mumayyiz Cafe. Buckingham described the place, saying that he heard cries of joy coming from both banks of the river, illuminated by 1,000 lights. The cafe was located opposite the Mustansiriya School, renowned for its rich intellectual past. The cafe cast its lights, which shone like torches, illuminating the eastern bank of the river. Amin al-Mumayyiz adds, the street near the bridge is teeming with cafes, always bustling in every season, every day of the week, and at all hours of the day and night. At the beginning of the street, near Al-Wazir Mosque, is the Raqabat al-Jisr Cafe, overlooking the river. On the other side stands the Asifiyya Mosque and the staircase connecting Raqabat al-Jisr to the summer terrace of Al-Mumayyiz Cafe. Nestled between the river and the Asifiyya Mosque, the staircase is divided by a narrow passage leading to the River Administration Building and the staircase opposite, which descends to the bridge bank. It is the only brick staircase with a railing. It's from this bank that the maqam singer traditional songs often concludes his song with the famous refrain, all landing stages are slippery, the crossing is only via ours. The cafe remained until its demolition in the 1960s during the presidency of Abdul Karim Qasim, in order to free Al-Mustansiriya building from the annexes that obstructed the view of the school. Then, upon entering Al-Ma'mun, Al-Dungachiya Street, passing between Al-Asifiyya Mosque and Al-Mustansiriya School, Amin al-Mumayyiz declared, we have described the street that runs through Al-Dungachiya from east to west as the aorta of the heart, through which the blood of the entire body circulates. This comparison is not an exaggeration, as it is rare to find a Baghdadi who has never walked through street at least once in their life. If a Baghdadi wants to cross from the Al-Rasafa Bank to Al-Karkh Bank, or vice versa, they walk this way. If they want to go to an administration office, Al-Qishla, Al-Sarai, City Hall, the courts, the royal cabinet, the Sultan's post office, they walk this way. If they want to go to the markets, the caravanserais, and the commercial center, they walk this way. If they want to admire the Mesopotamian antiquities at the Iraqi Museum, they walk this way as well. And many others walk this way for other reasons. This street is crossed by numerous tributaries to the north, east and south, which feed it with a constant flow of people, activity and movement. I now give the word to Dr. Imad Abdessalam Raouf, who offers us a detailed description of this thoroughfare, explaining Al-Mutraqi's map of 1534. Via the road from the bridge, one can reach the upper third of the city. As for the road itself, it was known in Abbasid time as Darb Dinar al-Kabir. It extends from the Tigris River, penetrating deep into the city. To its right, one passes a long building adorned with 5 vaulted galleries, which appears to have been a market. Indeed, this area was teeming with markets, notably the Darb Dinar market, which corresponds today to Al-Ma'mun Street, opposite the Baghdad Museum, and the Rihanin market and its annexes, which today from the Al-Shorja market. This we were able to cover the area from Al-Qat'a Bridge to Al-Ma'mun Street, all the way to Bablag. I share the opinion of the writer Amin al-Mumayyiz. This road is one of the most beautiful in Baghdad, both ancient and modern, and the journey remains undeniably magnificent. I thank all the writers and travelers who accompanied me on this journey through the centuries. A journey with a beautiful fragrance, like a bottle of magnificent history I can still smell. Thank you.
Finally, it is the small dome of Al-Wazir Mosque. And from this place was getting up to Al-Rasafa. The most beautiful street is the one which we constitute in our memory, in our imagination.